What happens when, somebody asks you, and I love to ask this of my guests, where do you see RJN, WRJN in 5 years from now, or 10 years from now? Let's start with the 5-year mark, because you mentioned before that it's been around for decades. I mean, it's been around for a very long time.
Right.
Do you see the station evolving with the media, or do you see it kind of standing alone by itself?
I think WRJN is unique because of our local emphasis. And I think it is, and if you end up asking a number of people around our area, especially both the county executives, who we give a platform to on our programs, a lot of local legislators, and because I know that one person, I've had both mayors on my program, Mayor Dickert in Racine, as well as Mayor Bosman in Kenosha. The one thing is about WRJN, it does something that really, and I realize that things are changing in this social media atmosphere and in the internet atmosphere.
Oh yeah, because everybody's got a camera, so now they're suddenly a video producer.
Exactly. And along with that, anybody, it's like, I do have a little setup in my home where I can do audio production. I really could take that and put together my own internet radio station. But with WRJN, there's that establishment of being around for 80+ years and being a place where people can go to and trust when it comes to finding out information, and knowing that it's right and good information for Racine and Kenosha. Because what we have, of course, there's always going to be a difference of opinion when it comes to anybody who is out in the public square, or any organization that's out in the public square. Exactly.
Take my hand and start a brand new day, and together as one we'll start to see some change.
Underneath everything we are, underneath everything we do, we are all people, connected, interdependent, united. And when we reach out a hand to one, we can influence the condition of all. That's what it means to live united.
Soapbox.
Exactly. They're always going to have, anybody like that is going to have critics saying, well, that's not necessarily the truth. But it's also a situation where, with WRJN, we are providing, that as well, because we have, the show with Don Rose and Sound Off during the midday portion of our day. We also have opportunities to learn about what's going on in the community with our morning program and our afternoon program. Along with that, on the weekends, we have a lot of great programming when it comes to finding out about the Racine area and the Kenosha area. We have, in fact, on Saturdays and Sundays between 10 and noon, we have a fellow named Mr. Racine. He's earned that nickname, Mark Eichhorst, who hosts a show called It's All About Racine. And they focus wholly and solely on things going on around the Racine area. And he delves into Kenosha now and again as well. But it's a resource like that people can turn to find out what's going on specifically in our area. The television stations and even the radio stations in Milwaukee really don't have an opportunity to do that. Same thing to the south in Chicago. They've got their areas to concentrate on. With us at WRJN, we've got Racine and Kenosha, where we can focus in on what's going on and in that area and let people know what's happening, what's shaking there. And not just the actual cities, we also, the counties as well, because it's like there's a lot more to, Kenosha and Racine counties than just Racine and Kenosha. It's kind of like there's a lot more to Illinois than just Chicago. So.
Yeah, don't tell that to Chicagoans. But we also see a public service that's provided by not only like Kenosha television, like here at our channel, Channel 14, but from the WRJN perspective, you also have a public service that you're providing, because you're covering all the local things just like we do. The only difference is we cover them graphically, you cover them audibly.
Right.
So, I mean, there are a lot of parallels. So, where do you see that station in 10 years?
Well, something, I think we're, really, what's going to be interesting is to see what happens with the business of radio as a whole.
Okay.
Because things are changing. We have...
oh, yeah, they are.
Yeah, we have, right now, there are situations where radio can be heard anywhere in the world. You can be, in the middle of Siberia, but if you have an internet connection, you can listen to a number of different radio stations from right here in our area. Right. So having that resource is very important for any radio station really to survive at this point. And I think anybody who is forward thinking, it's kind of similar with what's going on with the television business as well, with what you're doing here with Kenosha Community Television, because you want to be able to get what we're doing right now. What we're doing right now, you want to make sure that you have the broadest possible audience, as well as being able to let people who are outside of Kenosha know what's going on here in town, giving them the opportunity to see, for example, the parade that happened a couple Sundays ago here in town. Or for that matter, a lot of different events, a lot of different programs that you have here. Being able to access that is going to be important through the it's really the smorgasbord of advanced media now. Technology has just blown this entire situation media-wise up. So the key is just making sure that you are on top of the curve and being able to get the greatest possible access to your information to your listeners. And so those are areas that we at WRJN and our sister station, Light Rock 92.1, really have to look at, explore, because, to quote Bob Dylan, the times they are a-changin'.
That leads to the next interesting question I think that our viewers would love to hear. Where is Ted going to be 5 years from now? I notice you do that a lot.
To quote Bob Dylan again, the answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. No, altogether, I like I said, I love what I do. I've got the best job in the world. I really do. Radio is a wonderful business to be in. I've worked in music radio for years. In fact, I loved doing a 70s show that I hosted in Lake Geneva for 5.5 years. And if there's one thing I really enjoyed about that show is taking it beyond the normal barriers of playing music and telling interesting stories about the decade. I was able to interview a number of different people on that program. The first one was Jim Peck. You may be familiar with him from the I Remember Milwaukee show on Milwaukee Public Television. I talked to him about his days when he was a national game show host in the 1970s. And then I got a number of other different interviews along the way on that program. And the next thing you know, I learned something. I was earning a skill, developing a skill when it came to interviewing people. And eventually, what happened was this opportunity popped up at WRJN to be able to do the afternoon program and talk to a wide variety of people. And it wasn't, they could be they don't have to be within the parameters of 1970 and 1979 either. They can be people from today you can talk to.
And you just couldn't resist, could you? You had to do it.
Well, you know something, at that point it was a situation where I said, I better do it. But it has been a wonderful, wonderful opportunity. It has been great. I love doing the program. I love the people I work with. Our general manager, Chris Morrow. We have our program director, Don Rosen. I mentioned about Tom and Jan in the newsroom. Kurt Volman. Our office manager, Kelly McCahill. All of the people that we have selling advertising, and that's the key. Getting the sales staff. If it weren't for them, we would be doing nothing. Yeah. At WRJN. So when it comes to 5 years from now, if I'm doing what I'm doing right now, I'll be the happiest man on the face of the earth, and I'm married to a wonderful gal, and it's just a great life. And if things, if things just stay the course over the next 5 years, I'll be happy as a clam.
When we think about radio and we think about television, the media, you are correct, it is changing. we have a lot of things that have changed over the last 20 years. We went from analog television signals to digital television signals. Now we have HD television signals. The talk surrounding radio went from analog radio to digital radio. Now we're going to have HD radio, and that kind of died out, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. And I think the internet is the reason for that.
Now, that leads to the next question that I want to ask. Do you see yourself, or do you see radio as a whole, shifting from being over the air to going almost strictly internet?
There's going to be changes going on. I think the one thing you're finding out in regards to radio is that it's not going to be a primary source for music anymore. I think what you're going to be seeing is a lot of the talk radio that's on AM right now, because what's going on is that AM radio is a medium where the audience has been growing older, and a lot of what's going to be going on in AM is going to be shifting over to FM. Is that going to be happening with us? I don't know. We have a very popular FM station right now in Light Rock 92.1. But the key is, if you know where we're at, you know how to get to us, you will find us. And I think that's the key. You know, you having more options for people is going to be important when it comes to the reception of information and reception of, say, for example, what you do here and what we do at our place. And so the more options, the better. And if you have access to those options, then you'll be okay. And I think that's, for a very roundabout answer, Jeff, I think that's it. You got to make yourself available. And if you don't, you're going to be left in the dust.
And with that, believe it or not, our 30 minutes is up. So,
well,
on behalf of our guest, Ted Ehlers, I believe this is
Ehlen.
Ehlen. I'm terrible with names. Sorry.
That's okay, Jeff. I'll let you by.
Yeah, it's face for radio, right? But here we are at the close of another show. Thanks for watching Shaking Up Kenosha. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.
Are you camera shy but would like to get behind the scenes of the fun-filled world of television production? Then Kenosha TV just might be the place for you. Every week, your friends and neighbors on Kenosha TV create new programs. We always need people like you to help direct the shows, man the cameras, tweak the audio, and have a great time in producing programming for Kenosha viewers. No experience is necessary. Kenosha TV provides the training and equipment for you. For more information, give us a call or go to our website.